Hey there. Uh, Hope you're all doing good. Taylor, sorry, you're muted. Could you please unmute yourself? There you go.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of Open Source Thursdays. So excited to be here today. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Some folks in the chat already lighting stuff up. I'm so excited. How are you today,
Love that
Taylor?
octopus, man. Uh,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah, no, feeling really excited. I think it's all coming together here for the region stages. We made some great progress last week, and now we're doing some styling with Tailwind. So thrilled to
Yeah.
take all our hard work and make it look awesome, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll be covering what Tailwind is, what we're working on, and all that good stuff. I just wanted to take an opportunity, if I may, to plug what Distribute8 is working on and how you can contribute. Distribute8, if you haven't been here before, is the world's largest mutual aid supply chain and helping to power grassroots humanitarian aid organizations, and they've been doing some spectacular work. I was wondering, Taylor, I started to put you on the spot, but do you have any updates on what y'all have been up to?
Oh my gosh, it has been a intense week on the logistics front. So our first container, which we've been talking about, that's going to Lebanon, just cleared, and we have a whole bunch of wonderful photos from the receiving groups. They got 96,000 bars of soap, which is coming in at a great time because the power outages making it very difficult. It's affecting hospitals and everything else. What's the best way to stop COVID? Wear a mask, wash your hands with soap. So we're thrilled that that's out of the port. We have another one that'll be released soon. And we have a truck on its way to Greece. So there is a whole nother shipment that we can add to our Greece regions pages.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're doing some really complicated stuff with some of these shipments. The global supply chain is continuing to have a global meltdown. It's be thankful. Thank your truckers, your UPS guy, whoever, because getting that box to your front door has taken a lot of people, a lot of work. And of course, our hearts go out to everyone in the States who's impacted by Hurricane Ida. We're on some group chats with mutual aid groups across the U.S. who are responding to that, and it's amazing to see the hard work that they're putting in, to help everyday people across Louisiana, Mississippi, and other places.
That's extraordinary. Thank you for the update, folks. If you want to contribute to Distribute8's open source efforts, or if you can't contribute code, there's also a way to contribute financially. I'm going to post here a link to the Open Collective link for Distribute8. If you ever want to contribute in any way possible, I've got the link here, opencollective.com/distribute-8-USA. Yeah, I think I covered everything there. Let's get into what we're working on today for Distribute8's landing page. We've been working the last couple of weeks, as we mentioned, on getting data in. Today, we're going to focus a little bit more on styling. And for that, we're going to be using something called Tailwind CSS. Now, before we do that, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here because I've got a Git pod running with, I hope everybody's able to see. I'm just going to make it just a touch bigger just in case. If it's too small, folks in the chat, please do give me a shout. I actually need to check out our branch. What was it called? Feature -24. Mm-hmm. There we go. Now we're up to date. Yeah, so that's here's the page that we've been working on. This is the region page for Greece, where we have been working on adding the shipments table. We can see what we did last time was add wait, that's not up to date.
Now it's up to date. Pull the latest. There we go.
Yeah. So last week we added these totals. Some of these are blanked out. And we've got our lovely icons here that we added 2 weeks ago for incoming, outgoing shipments. And I've got a post-it now showing internal transfers.
Internal transfers.
So I will not forget the name this time. Yeah. So what we're going to be working on this week is getting those stylings working with something called Tailwind CSS. And another thing we've added to the project in between last week and this is something that we have at CodeSee have been working on and partnering very kindly with Distribute8 to help get us feedback and improve the how we can improve our tool, and by extension help Taylor and the rest of the Distribute8 team improve how they onboard folks to their code bases. And so what you see here is the Distribute8 repository. It's fully open source. Y'all can go and check it out if you ever want to contribute. It's distribute8/distribute8.org. And a little bit earlier today, I added something new from CodeSee, and which Taylor very kindly merged. From CodeSee, we've got now the view architecture diagram badge/button. And this is what I'm about to debut. I'm so excited. I'm debuting what
you're gonna blow some minds right now. This is so cool. Like, we've been waiting and kind of, working on like giving some feedback sessions and stuff. And I'm just absolutely thrilled with what the CodeSee team has been able to do here, just to help people, because that's so important. We want, just like how we want anybody to be able to participate in humanitarian aid efforts so that everyone can. Same thing with our code, right? And, step one is understanding what's going on. Obviously, it's a complicated project. There's lots of knowledge about logistics, about technology, and how do we make it as easy as possible for people to get up and running, and get that first commit in, get that first PR out there, take that first small step, and then build their engagement with the project and their knowledge about what we do over time. And so I think that these architecture diagrams provide a great visual way to start exploring and just see what's going on.
Yeah, Liz here writes hype. So I'm very proud to introduce the world to CodeSee Maps, which is what you see on screen now. I hope the size is okay. I'm just gonna zoom in just a touch here. And what you see here is an automatically generated and updated architecture diagram of your code base. So I've tweaked it here and there. I've been working on it, and I'm able to share this with the world. In fact, the link that you see in the GitHub repo is the one that is absolutely live. And what you can see here is just a bird's eye view of what the code looks like, what we what we as Distribute8 developers believe that are the best places for you to go when you're looking for certain pieces of code in this code base, right? So here I'm going to give you a brief tour of the map that I have created. You can see, for example, when I hover over these, that I'm looking at which way these dependencies go from one node to the other. So we can see which ones depend on whom. We can also get some insights into our map. For example, seeing which ones have been worked on actively. Looks like this is on our main branch, which is not the branch that we've been working on. So, for example, for latest activity, we don't have a lot going on here. When it comes to creation day, it looks like we got something a little new here in the last month.
We made the components, right? Didn't we make the icon component right there?
There it is.
This is super helpful. Where are people working on things at Distribute8? Like, hey, let me check out, a lot of times we're working with volunteers. Someone's on vacation. Someone has an intense month at work and they want to get caught up again. What's the latest and greatest? Let's just go explore. And the CodeSee Maps will show you where to start with that. They show you, here's the needle in the haystack of our code base.
I love that. I love that analogy. Yeah. Same goes for seeing where a lot of activity is going on. For example, we've got some commits going in here. We had that commit last week for the category icon, and same goes for working on the template. So we can see.
Now, again, this is on the main Saga branch. So what we want to do today, get some styling done and actually merge the work in progress PR we started last week. And then we'll hit the maps again at the end, and you can really see this is what's been happening, that Taylor and Ramón have been working on. Great way to communicate to our other volunteers what just landed in Saga. Great way for folks to see where work is happening. Yeah.
Totally. Totally. And yeah, and exactly. And so like if you turn these off, I've also like been marking them up myself, markup, React, TypeScript. This is a TypeScript project, so we can get some insight into some of these TypeScript related classes. And I wanted to add, yeah, so when we create that PR, y'all are going to see this later, it should automatically create I've been calling them PR diffs or map diffs,
Yeah,
like a map diff where it'll like generate a diagram to see which files have been changed, which ones have been moved, which ones have been added and or deleted. But more on that later. I do want to say, folks, if you're interested in checking out CodeSee Maps, we're running an open free beta. Works totally great on JavaScript and TypeScript code bases. I'm just gonna post a link to our website here at CodeSee. If you want to try it out, like get in touch with me, get in touch with the CodeSee team. Where you can see our handle up there at CodeSeeIO on Twitter. Come check it out. And can't wait to try it out with you, as we're going to do now.
Do me a favor real quick, Ramon, and just let's show people the relationship on the files. If you click on the region page there, and see how, what the layout we're using is, things like that. I think that'll give them a good insight on those relationship arrows.
Sure. Which ones do you mean exactly? Like, for example,
right there. So then if we drill down into the layouts folder, for example, which layout are we using, right? You don't have to go look at the import header and then go to a different folder and scan through the file names. It's like, okay, region page is using the simple layout option. And then it's linked in what components is it using. We saw earlier it's using the shipment category icon component. And so it's like when we're talking to people, hey, we're working on the region page, right? Go to that one thing in the CodeSee map, and then you'll see everything else that's related to that. And it's really brought to the center in a way that your file browser or GitHub doesn't necessarily allow for. That just kind of, these are the things you need to focus on to get that first commit going, to get that first PR, to understanding your initial section of the code base. And then you can gain familiarity and experience with it over time and kind of grow the areas of the code base that you're comfortable with.
Exactly. Well said. And I think, and the other thing I really like is that I can get that immediate glance. Like, I love that I can just click on something and see like, this interacts with this, and really get going quickly on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be especially, like, I'm so excited for doing also the PR as well. So
yeah, the map diff. Let's get coding and get to that.
Yeah. Cool. So I think the best place to start here is to look. Shall I bring up the? Actually, this is something I should have asked you before we started. Shall I be sharing the designs live, or rather work off of them?
I think that's fine, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, we like to work in the open, so we've had Feng and Lexus working very hard on designs for our site. So viewers, stay tuned. None of this is official yet, but you get a little bit of a preview on the Distribute Aid side today as well.
Awesome.
And we're going to be inspired by these designs. They're not created for the region page just yet, but we feel comfortable enough to go ahead and start working based on what's existing in place for the landing site. So
yeah, this is using a tool called Figma for sharing these designs, like designing them and also sharing them with developers. Mm-hmm. And we can sort of use this as a starting point for working on our page itself. What I'm mm-hmm. wondering, Taylor, is do we want to start like from the very top and go down? How do you like to?
We could do, I think the menu is a bit weird. We tried to kind of do the menu in Contentful, and I think that might have been a little bit too much perhaps. So the top might be a bit difficult there. Why don't we start one layer down? Like, what should the Greece header bit look like? We have a photo for Greece. It's the Greece region page. and maybe we can set that up with like the photo with the map, and eventually pull in other photos from shipments that have been delivered. I could see like, a little bit of a carousel of shipment photos going on here.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I'm gonna have to unshare and reshare again because I'm working across 2 different browsers. Sorry, I'm a bit of a mess today. So there we go. Back to our Chrome instance. Okay, cool. So starting from that Greece header, we've got the site header, and that site header. Oh, actually, we can use a CodeSee record. Do you mind if I use a CodeSee recording to see where the parts come from?
Yeah, and we actually left off in the PR. We left off a CodeSee recording from when we stopped, I believe. So
that's right.
That's okay. I mean, either way, right? It's so quick because you're just refreshing your screen. It's doing the recording, and then it's done. So
exactly. So what I wanted to look at was the simple layout, which you remember from the map, is what interacts here with the shipment page. I can't believe I'm using so many CodeSee tools to develop this. This is awesome. I feel like I'm working across worlds here. Yeah, so looking at here, if I'm not mistaken, this component will have the site header part, which we see in the website. And then we see Greece page and Hello World. And that'll take us down. If I go back to the CodeSee recording overview, and I go, if I'm going too fast, folks, please let me know. Sorry, I'm excited. If I go down to region name page and Hello World, we can see that here in lines 79 through 83 of the region page file. So that's where we're going to want to start. And I realize I've been driving and navigating, so I'll just go back to driving again. Sorry.
It's fun to see you so excited. Yeah, so I think, and I should maybe actually pull up the Figma as well. Give me 1 second on that here.
Sure thing.
But let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at that top section, because we have, the Greece region page. That can be the title for now, right, in the header. We can probably get rid of that Hello World, and then it might make sense to move Gatsby image, move that image into the header as well. We want to show the title and the image together, and then jump into the shipments table, which is the content. So let me pull up the designs here, and I have Tailwind as well.
Oh yeah, I should bring that up in case in case anybody's not familiar with it.
Yeah, do you want to show them Tailwind? Tailwind's really cool. It's kind of utility Java. It's utility CSS styling. So the idea is, rather than have a class like a kind of component-based class where you're writing a whole bunch of CSS, you set up these utilities that you can stitch together. It's great for prototyping, especially when things are more changeable. And then I find as we get a bunch of different Tailwind classes and the code settles down, that might be the point to refactor and set up more of a component-based class, or set up a kind of higher level Tailwind utility, right, where it includes borders and spacing and a couple of other things. But for the stage we're at right now, Tailwind is fast. It gets the job done. It's fun to work with. And it's not super scary if you're a JavaScript developer who's more on the kind of JavaScript side than the front end styling side.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's no, and from what I've seen, a lot of folks nowadays are using Tailwind for their active development. There are opinions, as there are about everything when it comes to so it's my opinion is, if you like it, use it. If you don't like it, don't use it. Yeah, but we're using it here for Distribute Aid's landing page. So how do we want this to look so here's how our page looks right now. We've got Greece page and the map of Greece.
Well, I think that map definitely needs to be smaller, right?
Mhm.
And we need that page title probably a lot larger. We got to think
Yeah.
about the copy there as well. So this is the Greece region page. That
Yeah.
might be the right way to title it right now, until we finalize the copy there. I think Greece region page there, and then maybe a subtitle or something, some breadcrumbs, something like that, that would allow people to go back to that list of different region pages. Like see
Hmm.
all regions, something like that.
Yeah. So that would be a link. That would be a href, and then that would be /where we work. That's the URL for the.
Mhm. And I think we should be using, if we use an ahref here, it's going to reload everything in React because it'll take us back to that page. If we use a React link component, then it'll just
Oh,
reload the content, yep, um,
good to
without
know.
having
So,
to reload the whole site.
I think I've seen it. I'm gonna see if it's in the. I remember seeing it in the Where We Work page because I remember working with them there. Is it cool if I just hop in there and see if I can find
Yeah, go for it.
it? It's a link from Gatsby. I think that's what we want.
Hmm. That sounds about right.
And link to, and then yeah, that's exactly what we want. So we will need to import GraphQL, comma link from Gatsby. So this is a utility provided by Gatsby that allows us to do just that. I think I'll do this. Yeah. And this is of course closing the link. What do you think? All regions. Folks in the chat, if you got opinions, please. This is a ensemble environment, so please feel free to chime in. Cool. Where we work,
One
all
question
regions.
I have, Ramon, should that be an H2? Is that really a subtitle or is that part of the header, but it's just a link back, right? So interestingly
Ah,
enough, with Tailwind, they actually remove all of the default styling. So you're not
yeah.
going to get a larger and then a smaller. We're going to have to create that styling ourselves using the Tailwind classes. And it's not really, yeah, it's not like a subheader. I think it's just get back to where you were. Um,
Yeah, you're right. So you're saying like it should probably be above, right? Or
I think it's fine to include the link in the header underneath the
gotcha.
H1, but just the link bit, and then we can make it block styled or whatever we need to with.
Sounds good. Like that.
That looks right. Give me 1 second here. Need to, of course, log into Google to log onto Figma on Chrome. I might just open that up in Firefox as well.
All good. That's the issue I had of
Yeah.
jumping between browsers. All good. Um,
Okay. So we'll want to set up class names attributes on the H1 and the link and the image. And then we can start to work on the styling here. And I have
Perfect.
Figma pulled up in Firefox, which is awesome.
Awesome. So I will. Should I be looking at the CSS, the documentation for Tailwind for looking these up?
Um, I
Or
gotcha
do,
here. Let me, yeah.
sure.
So what do we want to do first? We probably want to make the H1 in the link. That should be one block next to the Gatsby image, right?
Gotcha. So
So
probably need a flex box for that to
mhm,
have them side by side, right?
that sounds about right. So we'll want to make the header. Um,
What we can do with Tailwind is add classes to these, and Tailwind will automatically generate the CSS. Well, it will append the CSS to it.
Mhm. So I think if we just add the class flex to the header there,
Yeah,
and then if we wrap the H1 and the link in a div to kind of block them together next
sounds
to
good.
the image.
Can I do it like this? Oh, my bad. So no, 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 please. There we go. So we'll have that div, and inside that div, we'll have both of these. That look good?
That looks good to me. And then we'll probably want to limit the size of that image, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if we could just give that maybe a static width. Let me take a look for sizing.
I wonder if we could also use Flexbox to do that for us, because I think we will need to take mobile layouts into consideration as well.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, fun, complicated stuff. Let's get it working for desktop. So we see the Greece
Sounds
region
good.
page and all regions right there. Maybe we should make those a bit bigger. And then for the image, I think we'll need to limit the height of that at the very least, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
look if there's a max height here, which there is. And just using the default Tailwind scale, if we do max dash h dash, maybe limit it to 10 REM, so 40 would be the key value there. And that should limit the height.
Did you say 40?
40, yeah. So there's in the Tailwind settings, the Tailwind config, you can customize the different sizing. We're just using their defaults here, but you can kind of override these keywords depending on your style needs, and that's pretty cool. You don't need to change your CSS if we wanted, whatever max dash h dash 40, whatever that REM value maps to change. We can do that across the board just by changing the Tailwind configuration. Uh,
Brilliant.
yeah.
So if I do that and I refresh here, okay,
There we go. Okay. Okay.
nice.
Yeah. So
I
it's
cut.
not necessarily shrinking the image at all. It's still showing, but it's limiting the height of it and showing us the middle there, right?
I'm so tempted to hop into the inspector.
I think we should. I think we should,
Okay.
because this is Gatsby interacting with Tailwind.
I'm definitely not going to complain about that. I love this stuff. So let's see. We've got our flex box. We've got one side which is the title and the link. That looks good. And here is the image wrapper, which has the max height of 40.
Mm-hmm.
And there, you were absolutely right. There's max height for REM. Now, I don't know what I usually do here with images. I'm not all too much of an expert here.
Right. It's putting a picture in there. It's converting the image to a WebP and then specifying the dimensions
Oh yeah.
and the sizes there.
Maybe this is something
So,
we need to. Sorry.
no, no, no. Go for it. Go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, maybe this is something that we need to figure out with. Oh, look at that. So it's really displaying the entire. Uh,
Hmm.
Liz,
Just
Liz
showing
here,
the
right?
full image underneath.
Liz here writes, "No one is a CSS expert. You just throw stuff on it until it works."
Hmm.
There's a lot
Exactly.
of trial and error involved. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but look at this. So it's definitely like displaying the entire image with look at that, a max width of 960 pixels. So that's interesting. It seems to be hardwiring to a width of 960 pixels. What if
Hmm.
I'm just curious. Say 30%. Where's my percentage? that's a thing.
So I think we might have a cool solution here.
Yeah.
I need to double check, but I think I take the Tailwind config with sizing and stuff, and I actually export that to a JavaScript module so that we can use the values of something like max width, 40 or max height 40. Now, Gatsby Image, their plugin allows us to specify a width and a height. And I just want to take a look. Can you show me the import? I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right documentation because there's a new, so this is Gatsby plugin image. Okay. And then we're just using Gatsby image as the component.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm curious here. Give me 1 second to look up the documentation.
All good. I'm gonna take a look as well at the Gatsby plugin image. Because I seem to remember, oh, you know what? I seem to remember us doing this with the where we work page.
Mm-hmm.
Do that here?
Yeah. So I think there's a few ways we could approach this by setting some settings in the GraphQL query and actually
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
there we go. There we go.
That's what I did like several weeks ago for the Global Liquid Mob Programming Day.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's why I was yeah. Shall we go with this then?
Yep.
Cool.
Sounds good to me.
So I'm gonna. What that does is, correct me if I'm wrong, it allows us to. It allows us to very freely. It lets the server do the rendering of the image. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like the processing of the image.
Yeah. I think when it actually pulls the image down from Contentful, the transformation will happen there, and then it'll just expose that file through. Maybe.
Cool. So I think we made some progress.
Let's take a look at the where we work page again, just make sure we copied things right. So it's the map photo and then Gatsby image data. We might need to restart the server, perhaps, in order to pull it down. That's always a go-to of mine. If something's not working, just restart the server.
So what I've done is I've shut it down. And I'm going to type in yarn dev again to start it back up.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's very likely I did this wrong. Query contentful data. Hold on.
Oh, there's no map photo, is there? It's a different photo.
There is a map photo, but like I'm a bit wary that this is not all contentful data georegion, but just contentful data georegion.
I think that just means that we're choosing a single region instead of like an array of regions.
Right. So let's have a look, see if it's there.
Mm-hmm.
There is no image.
Mm.
And it's interesting that just adding this image data, so it just saved it, if I'm not mistaken. Refresh again. Oh yeah, there it is.
Okay, there it is. So it's just some of those settings there then.
Yeah. I wonder if... Where did I get this from? I'm just going to take another look at the documentation. Layout. Dynamic images. Display the image. Gatsby image. Gatsby image data. Here we go. Placeholder. You can do placeholders? That's so cool.
Yeah, there's a lot you can do with it. I'm looking at the documentation for the contentful source for Gatsby here. So download assets for static distribution. There's some good stuff with images here.
One thing I'm going to try just in case is to remove that maximum height. Just in case. It's worth a shot. But I find it interesting because if I go to all regions, this is where we have that image, and there it seems to work fine. That's Germany. There, Greece. So probably
it's not showing up here. Interesting. We could always check the GraphQL query if we wanted to.
With CodeSee? No.
Yeah, we could. Well, we could check the data we're getting from it with CodeSee, so we can see like what's happened to our data, or we can go into the GraphQL Explorer if there are no easy answers.
Yeah, good call. I'll try this as well as the GraphQL one, just out of curiosity.
Sure. And this is a good place to start, right? Region page template and what is going into the, I think right at the top there.
Contentful data. GeoRegion mat photo.
That's the image data.
It's got a height of 0.75. Oh.
So it is giving us image data there. We are getting something back from that, right?
Yeah, that's odd. I'm just gonna.
Should we take a look? Maybe it's how we're. That's the component we're using. So on the where we work page that lists all of them. Let's double check the component settings there.
So I'm back in the where we work page.
And then scroll up to where we're including those images. How do we? Just down a little bit, I think. There we go. Gatsby image. So no.mapphoto.gatsby image data.
Oh.
The other one, are we just putting the region
region.mapphoto. Good call.
But it looks like we are with the Gatsby image data.
That's a Gatsby image. The map photo, Gatsby image data. Yeah.
So that should be fine.
Do you reckon it has something to do with the flex? Let me unflex us for just a second.
Do we flex too hard, Ramon?
I think we might have. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's actually working. Nice. Now we wanted to limit the height. So what's going on with the height there? Because that was the point of our initial attempt here.
Yeah, that would be.
We tried to do that in the GraphQL query. So I want to take a look at that. Are we still trying to limit the height in the GraphQL query?
No, we're limiting the width.
The width.
Which, is that a good thing?
It could be. I mean, it should scale, right? So we're saying full width layout instead of fixed layout, and then giving it an explicit width.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that that's not now showing up on the image.
Liz, you never have to worry about the accent, please.
I think maybe the answer here, for the sake of the stream, is there's a whole lot going on with those images. We might need to kind of take a deeper dive into that offline. But I do definitely want to show some more Tailwind styling and get the commit going so we can show the the CodeSee map? Should we focus on the shipments table?
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
We'll let me just do us a quick checkout for now,
Mm-hmm.
just to sort of put us back where we were.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the table.
Right on. And I know that you were looking at what we want some more spacing. We did a really cool thing with the format number styling, which worked out great. Thanks to a wonderful tip from the audience here. And so now if I think we're just trying to get a little bit more space between the columns, maybe do some alignment. You had an idea you want to alternate the rows. So let me go look at Tailwind and see what we can do.
I'll do the same here. Look at table.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So we can add. Oh, go for it.
No. Go for it. Go for it. You're navigating.
I was going to say we could add table-auto class to the table. That might automatically set some of the sizing a little bit better than default.
Awesome. Give it a try. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can tell a difference just yet, but I wonder if. I mean, the easiest thing to do is to remove the table auto class. Could it be that we need to also add the table and then table auto classes? Just gonna table auto.
It looks like that might be the default style as well.
Huh. Use the table. Width full maybe? Table row group table. I think we need to be more specific for specifying table row group, table row, table cell.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think what you're describing sounds more like Bootstrap.
Oh, no, but look, it's this is for divs. So if we have something that we want like a table, but it's not a table.
Good call. So I definitely don't want to be messing with divs. We've got our table. We want it to look as such. So what you were saying, table auto, right?
Yeah, that might not be. This is one of the things that I'm coming from, like Bootstrap or other of these more put together kind of CSS libraries. And so an interesting thing with Tailwind is that you very much have to build it up in some cases.
For sure. So I see here, table class, table auto, T head. Do we have a T head and a T body? Could that T head? Aha. So we don't have a T body. Could that be what's missing?
Maybe. Should we add a T body there just as an indicator?
Yeah. Comes to things. I wonder if what Tailwind wants is for us to be, specific about those classes. Yeah. Oh, you know what? No, table auto is still there. Can we actually? Oh, here we go. We can see in the inspector, we've got table layout auto.
Oh, okay.
So we're already using that class.
Okay, cool. So I think actually it's maybe not table specific stuff. We might just want to go add borders and things like that directly. So let's go back to our code. What would be a good thing? Probably a border underneath the header, right?
Yes, that sounds lovely. That would be underneath the first header. So we need a class name. Now, how did you do borders? Was it?
It's going to be border-b for the bottom, and then let's do a -2 as well. Make it 2 pixels, and then we'll want a border color. So this will be another class Let's go with, let me take a look at the configuration here. Maybe we can get some of DA's colors on there. So
Sure.
if we do border dash navy dash 900.
So border dash navy dash 900.
Let's see if that's showing up now.
Awesome.
Oh,
Look
sweet.
at that.
There we go. So maybe the thing to do here is we could actually make the entire, that initial header with the columns and stuff. Let's have that be distribute aids darker blue with a white font, and then we can have the totals underneath it, do a bit of a, slightly stepped down background. And then for the actual table rows, we can work on a background that's kind of alternating with a dark font.
Love it.
Cool.
Let's do it.
I'm just going to read out some Tailwind styles, and you put them in the right place, and let's see if we can streamline this. I feel like it's one of those things. Once you figure it out and you're in the groove with Tailwind, then you're in the groove. So let's get there. So
let's do it. Tailwind speed run.
Tailwind speed run. So background color. Let's do BG-navy. Let's go with the 800 for this one.
Keeping the border.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, sorry, keeping the border.
Keeping the border for a little bit of separation. And then we can do text-white for our text color. So that should be the top bit. And then for the second header row, we can do BG-navy-700, make it a little bit lighter, and then we'll do text-white for the text as well. And let's keep that same border with the 2 pixels and the dark border. Yep. So that should get us.
Sounds good. Oh, wow.
Okay, making some progress here.
That already looks so much better. I love it.
Nice. I think we could work on some of the styling there, but maybe a cool thing to do would be, how do we get an alternating pattern with Tailwind, right?
With Tailwind, I'm not sure, but with JavaScript, I can think of an idea.
So we could do a JavaScript solution. And then I wonder if there's a CSS where it's like every other, if we can apply it.
Oh. Yeah, definitely. There's like CSS for like even, was it even child and odd child or something like that? I could be wrong.
Exactly. Yes. It's like nth child n divided by
that's it
2 or something like that.
I wonder maybe how that works.
In the audience knows.
We got something. Even at the even prefix, if it is an even child of its parent. This is exactly what we need.
Exactly. Yep. And there's a Tailwind even child. So I think that this is kind of a, let me just make sure it's enabled.
Yeah. So if I were to try this out.
So this is a prefix. So what we can try on the in the T body. Like on that row in the T body there.
But this one.
Giving it a background to start off with here. So we're going to want even colon, and then we can do BG-navy. Let's go ahead and give it a lighter one, like navy-200.
Cool.
Sweet. And if that works, then we should see every other row with that background color.
That's correct.
Okay. So what I'm reading here is that it's not applied or enabled to core plugins. We're going to want to change the tailwind.config.js file.
Cool.
And if you go towards the bottom for variants and then extend, right now it looks like we have this for example, a couple of other things. And if we do background color, there's active. Let's just add a comma, space, and then add even there. Maybe even add odd there too. I wonder if there's an odd. Yep, odd shadow.
And how do I add these variants? Sorry, I didn't quite understand.
Oh, totally. So you see on line 98, we already have variants for background color. If you just, in that array, add even and odd.
Gotcha. Like that.
Exactly. Let's save that. Let's restart the server. And then I think those will be applicable. And the cool thing is that now generates these prefix classes for Tailwind across the board, right? So anytime we need this for background color, we just have to put that even colon ahead of it. And any of our background colors we can use this with now.
Awesome. Cool. So while we do that, we can go ahead and refresh this page while it builds.
Let me go ahead and look up some column spacing. I know that was on the list as well. Would you say that's better probably as padding in the cells, or do you think margin? Probably padding though, right?
I think for cells, padding makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free, chat, if you don't agree. Totally open. I like this, by the way. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, it worked.
Yeah,
That's
totally did
so
it.
cool. Nice.
I
Okay.
like it. It's elegant.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm totally with you on padding.
The padding. Mm-hmm.
And that would, yeah.
So it's just px-8. That'll add horizontal padding to everything.
And that will be on the table. Or would that be on each
It's
row?
probably on each cell there,
cell.
right?
Yeah.
But that's a lot. So I wonder if there's a way to say, can we do this to every child or something like that? So
I'm just gonna try this out with this handy dandy multiple cursor functionality that VS Code has.
there we go.
I feel like I'm cheating doing this. PX-8, you said?
PX-8. Mm-hmm.
That's an I. There we go. Oh, wow.
Oh, it looks so much better.
That looks fantastic. I like how consistent it is as well.
Should we try to add maybe PY-2? Just give it a little bit more vertical spacing between the rows as well?
Agreed. In fact, I very purposefully left the cursors on so that we could either tweak it or try something else. Perfect. Look at that.
Wonderful.
Look at that. I love it.
Okay.
Shall we go ahead and commit this?
Yeah, why don't we, it's throwing me off with the two different blue there. So let's just make the header all one blue, and we do have that darker border to separate them a little bit. If we could just make that second one maybe 800. There we go. I think that works for now. Let's go ahead and get this committed, and then end with the CodeSee map showing the difference. Is that something that we can do in the PR?
Yep. Hopefully. Let's give it a try. I think it I don't know if updating a PR will generate a new diagram, but we'll figure this out as we go. So we will
Okay.
git status. I see 2 commits here. One for the Tailwind config, which would be extending. This would be feature add. Oh, sorry, you're navigating.
Oh, it's all good. I think extend Tailwind config for background color, for alternating background colors.
That?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I just committed to Saga.
Oh, are we on Saga right now?
No.
Oh,
Sorry to scare you.
Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't think we'd be able to see any of our changes.
You're absolutely right. So the other one is I'm using the git patch functionality that I'm a big fan of. Just to see what changed. We added a bunch of class. We styled the shipments table.
Yeah.
So feet.
I think you said it. Yeah, style the shipments page table on the region page.
The shipments table on the region page. Perfect. So now git push origin feature 24 page shipment totals. So once that's pushed, I hope we'll be able to see that reflected in our doing some GitHub actions, which is good.
Okay.
Requested or required. So we added those 2 commits, and I wonder. Okay, here we go. We've got this CodeSee map action running.
Fingers crossed, everybody.
Fingers crossed we can see it. That would be so exciting. I can't wait.
So y'all can see how important it is, for tools like CodeSee to help us understand the code. Today we worked with Contentful on kind of pulling that down into Gatsby. We worked with Tailwind for styling, which caused some issues. Do we do Gatsby image to change the images, or are we doing a Tailwind style? How does that actually play out when the code is generated? Of course, we're using React for all of this. And so I don't know about you, Ramon. I grew up and started coding in the days where you would write inline CSS, and HTML, and just FTP the file up to a web server, and like that was your website. I think front-end development has gotten a lot more complicated, and anything to help new volunteers just jump in and start to make progress. If you get stuck somewhere, okay, that's fine. Maybe that's something. Oh, there we go.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We have a map.
Nice.
Oh my God, this is so cool. PR diagrams. Liz writes, PR diagrams are my favorite thing. I love how they just kind of acts like flashcard that just help me build my mental model on certain areas of code. And this is great. We shipped this feature like in the last week or so. This is amazing. So what it does is we can see an immediate diff here of what took place. We edited the region page and the Tailwind config. We saw that just now. This is the changes to our architecture map. And no added files, no removed files. And we can see A depends on B, site theme depends on Tailwind config. There we go.
Yeah, and that's actually really important. I love how you can see the site theme depends on Tailwind config. That's the file I was talking about where it reads the Tailwind config and exports the values from Tailwind as variables if we need to use them in JavaScript for some reason, or if we want to dynamically apply classes. And so seeing that Tailwind config might impact site theme would allow me as a reviewer to go back to the CodeSee map. Okay, what depends on site theme? If we've added some stuff or changed the Tailwind config, that might all be fine and dandy for the stuff we're working on. Is that going to cause problems for someone else in a different file? So just having that right there as a potential, hey, heads up, and the ability to drill down into that through the CodeSee maps is quite frankly amazing.
Yeah.
No.
I'm so excited. This is great. Well, I'm afraid we'll have to stop for the day, but Taylor, thank you so much for being here. Folks, if you want to check out CodeSee Maps, check out our website. We're codesee.io. Please, if you want to help with Distribute Aid, check out their Open Collective displayed here. Opencollective.com/distribute-aid, distribute-aid-USA. Thank you all so much for joining in the chat. We'll looking forward to the next time where we'll be continuing doing some more styling and more Tailwind. This has been great. Thanks, Taylor.
Yeah, no, and thank you. This maps feature is awesome. I'm excited to play around with it more offline. Super cool to see it today.
Big thank you to our excellent engineering team. They are killing it. All right, everybody. Have a great week and see you next time.